Hi VC, welcome to my vinyl finds number 4. I haven't done a vinyl finds for a few weeks, so I thought I'd better keep you in the picture about what I've been buying. I've spoken before on my videos about what I consider to be the continuing recovery in the UK at least of the thrift scene, of the charity scene. I'm starting to notice now, walking into charity shops and finding things, interesting things, rather than just dreck. And then, so a few days ago, actually it was probably a couple of weeks ago now, I had a really good catch, and you won't believe what I found. In fact, I don't even have the whole set here that I bought, because I'm going to save a few back, but I picked up this Miles in the Sky by Miles Davis. That actually was £10, it was actually £9.99. But really, I mean, not the kind of album that you ever see in the wild. This was the great lineup that he had with Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, Ron Carter, and the phenomenal drummer Tony Williams. I probably don't like it quite as much as ESP, which was either the one immediately after or the one immediately before. I can't quite remember. It's on the Columbia label. But yeah, I was really pleased to pick that up. It's not an album that I've ever seen in any shop. It's the kind of album that I might look for on eBay, and so it was really great to pick that up. And then also in the same batch, one for Doug here, I picked up a copy of Burning by Bob Marley and the Wailers, an album that I have on CD. This, it says here, this is the definitive edition, remastered, original artwork and track listing. I've not actually played this yet. Let's quickly show it to you. So it's a gatefold. It's in really good condition. The record is... See that bit of glare there? Sorry. Huh. Can't quite. You can just about make it out. So yeah, Burning by Bob Marley. Quite amazing to find that in amongst all the usual kind of Leo Sayer and David Essex albums. It comes with quite a nice insert. Bob Marley catalogue. All the albums there. So yeah, I was chuffed with that, as we say in England. Then they had this for £2.99. Unfortunately, a bit of scuffing here, but I couldn't leave it there for £3. Bob Dylan's Slow Train Coming. Now I think this is one of his Christian Born Again albums, isn't it? I'm not entirely sure if I'm right there. I could be completely wrong. Looking at the track listing, the tracks don't sound particularly Christian. Oh no, Gotta Serve Somebody. That sounds like a bit of a Christian song, doesn't it? Precious Angel, I Believe in You. yeah, definitely one of his Christian albums. But well worth getting. It's always good to pick stuff up. This is the album that has Mark Knopfler on. He plays guitar on there, and it's the Muscle Shoals horns as well, which is quite nice. It's just on CBS. Can't see the labels anyway because of all the lens flare. Just watching the time. I also picked this up. Everything But the Girl, Love Not Money. They're not a band that I know much about. I remember when they crossed over into the kind of dance, dance mainstream, would you call it? I don't know. Back in the 90s, I became more aware of them. But I bought this really just because it was very affordable, £3, in very good condition. I know Tracy Thorn is quite an interesting person. She wrote her autobiography a while ago, which was very well reviewed. I didn't read it, but this is on the Blanco de Negro label. Blanco de Negro. Wish I could eliminate the lens flare from this, but I'm not going to be able to, I don't think. I haven't listened to that yet. I don't know what it's like, but clearly Everything But the Girl are kind of a respected songwriting duo, so I've got high hopes for that. Okay, I picked this up again, a charity shop find This was £2.99. I recently bought Regatta de Blanc, and it's quite odd actually because I was listening to this in the car on CD the other day for the first time in probably about 20 years. I was never that into the Police, as in I never used to listen to their albums particularly, but I was always into their greatest hits. This album was quite big for me back when I was kind of in my sort of early 20s or so. I used to really enjoy it, so it was quite nice to pick that up on vinyl. Contains the inner sleeve there. Not going to bother showing the label, let's show. Yeah, seamless cut there, I had to cut because I ran out of memory. So yeah, that's the Police, and Every Breath You Take. Because I had to cut just then, I was able to go and find the other record that I forgot to pull out earlier, the one from the charity shop find where I got the Miles Davis. I also picked up, amazingly, a copy of Tutu by Miles Davis. This was pretty cheap, it was under a £5. It is not in mint condition, but it is in good condition. I'd say very good condition. Oddly enough, I was listening to this album just the other day. I think it was on YouTube. I think it was a kind of a bit of a comeback album for him. There was some synthesizer programming on it. Miles Davis always liked to be on the cutting edge. You know, he always used to allow himself to be influenced by what was happening in contemporary black music, popular music. I know he was very influenced by Sly Stone, wasn't he? And on this album, he kind of experiments with. I think he experiments with synths and loops and so on. So yeah, I was really pleased to find that. Great cover, isn't it? Miles Davis always had great covers on his albums. I mean, he was so photogenic, I suppose. I'm just thinking of the covers of In a Silent Way. There's a great picture of him on Kind of Blue. Yeah, Miles Davis, what a man. Okay, I don't show a great deal of new music on the VC. This is something I'm kind of aware of. It's not that I don't buy new music. I often buy new things on CD just because it's a kind of cheaper way of, it means not taking so much of a risk. But I am into a fair number of new bands. This band, the Dirty Projectors, Swing Low Magellan. I'm not sure where these guys are from. They're from the States. I have actually seen them live in Manchester. They're a really interesting band. I'd say it's almost like kind of art rock, a little bit Talking Headsy, a little bit prog, I would say. Kind of contemporary prog is the lyric sheet there. Quite hard to describe. This is their latest album. The album before this, was it Bit Orca? Is also very good. They're very creative. The songs are they're quite poppy and melodic in a way, but they're arranged in a way which is completely unexpected. Lots of vocal samples and quite abrasive moments where the music kind of jumps from one thing to another, quite kind of arty. Well worth checking out. But they are very melodic. The guy writes quite sort of sweet songs, and what I do like about them is that there's a male and a female singer. A bit like in Sonic Youth and bands like that. I've always liked bands where you have a man's voice and a woman's voice as well. So yeah, I was pleased to pick that up. Dirty Projectors and Swing Low Magellan. And the last few, actually no, there's one more charity shop find. I picked up a copy of It's My Life by Talk Talk. I've checked on eBay and I think I got this for a real bargain price. It was £4.99. I don't have any other Talk Talk albums on vinyl, although I do have the big famous one. What's it called? Mine's gone blank. Eden, Spirit of Eden, on CD. I've given this a couple of listens and it's great, really good. Mark Hollis's voice is extremely distinctive, a good songwriter, and Talk Talk were almost one of these kind of era-defining bands in a way. They've got a very 80s sound, haven't they? But they somehow transcend that particular era. very creative, quite kind of original, I'd say. I mean, I know that there's a lot of admirers of Talk out there. I've seen a few people talking about them on the VC. Okay, I picked this up after watching one of John Bellamy's videos where he showed it. Skyscraper by David Lee Roth. This is an album that I had in my collection years ago, and I just lost it. There's a few albums that I used to have, and I just don't have them anymore, and I genuinely don't know where they've disappeared to. I can only assume that people have borrowed them over the years and not given them back. This is a big favourite album of mine from when I was kind of 16, 17. I had a friend who was really into David Lee Roth. I talk about him on my one of my other videos, on my competition video. He was called Mark. He was heavily into David Lee Roth, and he got me into him. This is the album that has Steve Vai on it. It's co-produced by Steve Vai. Very, very OTT, you know, big kind of pile driving arrangements, a bit prog, a little bit R&B in places. There's horns on here, very catchy songs. If you've not heard this album, get it. You know, it's just a great, fun, big melting pot of stuff. And arguably, it's his last great album, I think. David Lee Roth, Skyscraper. I picked this one up for £1. Absolute bargain. Not their best album, I don't think. This is Prefab Sprout, from Langley Park to Memphis, including the highly annoying top 10 hit, The King of Rock and Roll, but it also has on it Cars and Girls, which is one of the greatest songs ever by anybody. Paddy McAloon. Again, me and John have been going back and forth on this a fair bit, John Bellamy, and I've seen a couple of other people. 6-inch Pianist as well, as mentioned, Prefab Sprout. The guy who was working in the record shop, in the charity shop, who I bought this from, he said he'd never even heard of them. So I kind of stood at the counter for about 5 minutes, giving this guy a stern lecture on how he should check out Paddy McAloon and Prefab Sprout. I could probably do doing a whole video on them, to be honest with you. I just love them. Right, nearly finished. This was an eBay purchase, I think. Lord Cole and the Commotions and Mainstream. I don't have many Lord Cole albums. I've got Rattlesnakes on vinyl. I've had this on CD for many years. I really like him. He's clever, witty songwriter, writes very off-the-wall stuff. It might sound sacrilegious, but I probably prefer him to Morrissey, you know, in a way. And he's got a really good band. Had a really good band. I don't think the Commotions exist anymore, do they? Really nice, subtle band, really. You know, they could all play. And the songs on this album are all kind of, you know, quite melancholy, wistful kind of British songs. Quite intellectual, quite studenty. If you've not heard Lord Cole, I'm sure you have. This is a good album to start with. I think I prefer this to Rattlesnakes, but I do know this album better than Rattlesnakes, so perhaps that's completely wrong. Anyway, I was pleased to pick that up at a reasonable price. Lord Cole and the Commotions and Mainstream. Then this is a record and a band I keep seeing people showing this on the VC. It's the kind of thing that looks like it should be kind of like really rare and like, you know, really amazing to show, but I just keep seeing people showing it, so I'm not going to linger on it too much. It's just one of those Brothers Johnson's albums, produced by Quincy Jones. This is Blam. Blam! 2 exclamation marks. And we're going to finish with possibly my favourite album of the whole bunch, actually. I've no idea whether VC members are going to know about this band, particularly people from America. Although they did actually tour, they supported The Who back in the 1970s. They're a band that came from Birmingham, and the guy in the band has had a really long career stretching back over the decades. He's like a real cult artist, but he's never really cracked it. He had a hit single in 1976 with a cover version of Tulane by Chuck Berry. He was signed to a major record label, but it was just before the punk explosion happened, and when punk happened, it just completely washed away all his chances of mainstream success. But they did get to support The Who, and they carried on making music for years and years, and this guy is still very active. He still plays a lot around around Birmingham in the West Midlands, and he's just great. This is the Steve Gibbons band. This is Steve Gibbons here. I don't know who the other three guys are, but that is Trevor Burton, who was the original bass player in The Move. Again, another sort of legendary figure, really. I'm going to do a video on West Midlands rock at some point because I'm a big fan of it. This is a great album. I was aware of Steve Gibbons, but I didn't really know how good he was. Great singer. He's the sole songwriter on here. He writes all the songs, and they're really, really good songs. And the playing is phenomenal. What I might do, I might end the video with a little clip, because if Martin's watching, there's some real rough dump guitar work on this record. So I will probably play out with a little segment of the Steve Gibbons Band. It's a great cover, isn't it? Yeah, I'll play out with a little segment of one of the tracks. Now, just to give credit where credit is due, I don't know which of the two guitarists on here is playing the following guitar solo. There are two guys, Dave Carroll and Bob Wilson. Dave Carroll and Bob Wilson, so it'll be one of these guys, or maybe it's both of them, I don't know. But yeah, the Steve Gibbons Band, Any Road Up, cut to some rough dumps. I'll catch you later, VC. Take care. Please like, please comment, and please subscribe. Bye.